Okay, we're live. We're
Hello.
here. Hello, everyone. Mary's here. Thanks for being here, Mary.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry, Mary M. I didn't use your personality name.
I put up the tree for everyone, just
I love
for
that.
this stream.
I love that. And what I love now is I can see us in the background on your TV.
I'm glad you noticed. That's like some little thing I've been doing,
Yeah.
whenever I can sit at this desk, and I'm like, I don't know, might be fun.
It's cool. I think I noticed it last time and I was like, wait, is that me? And then I kept looking at it and I was like, oh, it's weird. It's weird. But it's so small, it's not bothering me. So we're
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah. But the tree looks lovely. Love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
And people are already here. Hey, Sorf. Hello there. Richard. Hello. Evening both. My main reading goal for next year is just to keep reading as much as possible. But other than that, I like to do more rereading and more library borrows. I say wonderful, wonderful goals. Those are perfect ones. Love that.
Yeah, I love those. You know what it is? It's like off the bat, I just love the tone, Richard, of your goals, because like I am not going to pressure myself.
Yeah.
To be realistic, I'm going to have fun,
Yeah, I love that because I am pressuring myself. It's going to be great. You'll see. I'll be watching this back tomorrow to see what yours are. Awesome, Richard. Well, thank you for piping in.
Thank
I love
you.
that. And James with the Santa and the tree. Thank you.
James?
Jessica's ready to be inspired. Oof. I don't know if we can do that I'm going to mention a book, Jessica, that you've told me about. Every time. It's a goal now. It's not even a goal. Hey, there's a goal because it's the video. It's a goal now. Just mention Jessica and a recommendation from her. A Jessica recommendation. I can't do it. I'm just like Jess.
You almost had a Jessica recommendation.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Which, by the way, Jessica is lovely. Yesterday, she sent me these Jessica recommendations. Oh, I threw in the rec. Jessica recommendations.
Jessica recommendations, yes.
But not only like a list of books, like a 60-minute. I'm not 60-minute. A minute.
I was like, whoa. She gave you a whole podcast.
Whoa. Like a minute description of each book, like a video of the cover of the book with her commentary over
it.
I
love that.
On specifically, let's say, Delilah Green-ish books that I might enjoy. It was like, I don't know what I did to deserve that, but it was lovely. And I wrote down every one, and I will be getting to them.
I love that so much. Jessica has done that for me in the past, and it is my favorite. I'm like, Jessica, you should just like make this a series you do, or just privately do it for us all the time because we love it. But yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes, awesome. So thank you again.
Yeah, she's working on her 2023 intentions right now, reading included. Wonderful. Well, let us know what your reading goals are, because I got to tell you, I have a list and I'd like to add to it today. So if anyone in the chat has suggestions, or let me know, just like Richard, what your goals are, because I may be inspired to put it down the same thing, or like do a goal with one of you if you'd like. Batmanda's here. Finally managed to catch a stream live. Well, thank you for being here. Good to see you.
I see Batmanda on Instagram a lot, so
love that.
Yeah. By the way, Kristen, and everybody else watching now or later, before we started, Kristen showed me her list for this live stream. I feel like I showed up not prepared. That's all I'm going to say. My list is short, concise. I'm just hoping that I will be able to sort of like rip off of your list, maybe.
Oh, I was hoping we would just rip off each other's list, honestly. I feel like you're going to have some that I'll be like, why didn't I think of that? I got my pen. I just inked a pen. I'm ready.
Ooh, you're ready to go.
We're good. And a lot of I may be too, there may be too many here, but I'm not going to stress about it though, right? If I don't hit all these, it's not a big deal to me. I just like having something in mind, right? And I think it's fun. We're just trying to have fun here, right?
Absolutely. And I think when we have like little goals like this, like it's not about pressure really, although, we will put pressure on ourselves. But
every time,
I don't know, like you said, it just makes it fun, can make fun of ourselves and, all that kind of thing. And there's some classic ones, I think, I'll call them, even though they're listed as goals, they're more of like little white lies that we're going to do.
Yeah.
Especially
Things
when
were
it
like,
comes to like purchasing. Let's stop the lies. Like we will buy. We're going to be buying books.
Did you put a purchasing goal on yours? Because I got to tell you, I considered it, and then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna lie to myself. But I may want to. I may want to lie to myself. So
if I'm looking over here, it's because that's where I have my iPad up and I have my list there. But I only have one that is connected to purchasing, and it's not real strict. So,
love that. Well, one thing as a teaser on my list is I am going to do a specific challenge this year, and I don't even know what's on the challenge yet. So we're going to experience that together as a tease. And one other thing. What was the other thing?
Waiting.
You know what? Let's just get into it. That'll be helpful. We'll just get into it. Some of mine are very broad. Some of them are very specific. I don't know how you went, but
yeah, mine are probably more broad, I think, but that's good though. Listen, you know, we're like, I'm joking around that I didn't come to the show with enough, but we talk and talk and talk and talk off of anything, so we'll be fine.
And we'll figure out more, I'm sure. So love the idea of having a shared goal. Jessica, what should we do together? Let me know. I'm all about it. Also, then we can hold each other accountable, you know?
I think my goal is to read all the books that Jessica reads. That's my goal.
I love that goal. Really, I've copied her a lot this year. She's like, oh, read this. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
It's so funny because like so many people recommend stuff and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And I do write it down and I intend to.
Yeah.
But for some reason this year, Jessica's been like this, and I'm like, okay. And then I do it.
She's
been hitting it too, hitting them out of park.
You
Every time I like them. Yeah. This
great.
is the Jessica. We love Jessica show. Farhan's here. Hi, Kristen. Mary, 4 a.m. here. Just got off work, but not going to miss this. Mary, what a final.
Well, Farhan, I actually thought of you. I'm like, oh, you must be super busy today. But yeah, that was an amazing final. Amazing. I was happy with the outcome.
And thank you for popping in. That's late for you. Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to go with one that this is not that original. And every reader is going to say this, but I want to see if this year I can at least, I'm not going to say stick to it, but all of these, I want to try harder. That's the theme of all. And when I say try harder, not like, oh, I'm going to try harder to eat more vegetables this year. That sounds like pain. I want to like try harder because I think I will get satisfaction out of it. Okay. So what it is I want to read more of what I own. So,
yes.
And really the reason is because, listen, we buy all these books, right? Because we want to read them. It's not like I don't have anything on my shelf that hasn't been read yet that I'm like, I don't want to read that. That wouldn't make any sense, right? So that's definitely a huge one for me. But it's tough, right? Like the problems of a book nerd when you watch all these lives, you watch BookTube, you're on Instagram, you're on social media, and it's like you want what everybody, you don't want the shiny new toy that everybody's holding up, which is a lot of fun. But it would be cool if I like maybe 1 out of 5 would be directly from my shelf.
It's a great goal. It's a great goal. So great. In fact, I put it down as well. Read more books that I own. That is the third thing on my list. It's hard for us too because we love the library.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to be going to the library. Right. Yeah. I'm intending to read more from the library as well. But yeah, I need to read more that I like physically have here. It's also hard for us, I think, because we're both mood readers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm looking around a room full of books that I have not read. And it's not that I'm necessarily not in the mood to read any of them.
Right.
But that shiny new thing just came out. I don't want to buy it, but I have it on hold at the library. I need to go get it. Right? Like I have that problem as well.
And I mean, like you said, from the library just this morning, I don't know what happened to me. I read 2 volumes of Blood on the Tracks because the library had them. I was like, and that's a great thing. Like, obviously it's awesome to, utilize our libraries, right? I mean, that's not taking up any shelf space, but yeah, it's funny how many times that jumps the line. We have our own personal libraries here and it's like, oh, but the library has this other book available now. I don't
Yeah, I
know
mean,
what happens.
I'm even thinking like if there's like a dedicated like shelf in my living room full of library books right now, and I'm
Oh,
just like,
really?
they're just sitting there. They're just sitting there, and I'm reading something I own right now, which is great. But I'm also
Right,
like, oh, those are due soon.
right.
know?
And they're just like looking at you from the shelf, you
Yeah,
know.
they're
Yep.
teasing me for sure. Jessica says, always a good goal to read what you own. One year I had a rule I would have to read one of what I own before getting anything new. It lasted 3 months, but might try something similar again, 1 for 1 or 2 for 1. I love that. I've considered that like every year, and I've never really kept thinking about it throughout the year, right?
Right.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to add that to my list. Something like that. It's a good idea.
I like that.
That Mando wants to read more of what I own and use the library more. Trying to buy less and save shelf space for books I know I love. That's always a great thing to think about too.
Yeah, that leads into something that I'll bring up down the line on my goals. Wouldn't that just be great to have like on your shelves, like books you truly love that you've already read, things you'd read, you know, I don't know. It's a dream.
Yeah. Well, and within that goal of reading more books I own, I mean, I have an idea of some books that I have. Maybe I got for dirt cheap somewhere. Maybe I, picked up for this reason or that reason. And I haven't touched them yet, but I'm so aware that even if I read it and really like it, I'm not going to need to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have those certain books in mind, and I really want to read more of those as well so I can just get them out of here.
Yeah.
Right? It's not something I want to give away without reading, but
Right.
like I want to read it, enjoy it, and then just let
Yeah.
it live its life elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just because you like a book or like you said, even love it, it doesn't mean you have to keep it. I know that sounds like a foreign language to some, even to myself as I say it out loud,
Sure.
but it's true, right? I mean, I don't know them, but then the collectors in us, but what if down the line I want to read it again? Well, the reality is, in most cases, as you often tell many people, just buy it again. It'll be, even if it's a
Yeah.
matter of, oh, will it go out of print? I mean, you know, how that
Even
goes.
I think about like that Harley and Ivy book I sent you. I
Yes.
enjoyed that book. But
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I don't feel the need to keep it. I don't think I'm going to reread it anytime soon if I'm ever
Yeah.
going to reread it. And if I do, I can get it on Hoopla.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that big of a deal. So I sent it to you because I was like, you're going to give it a better home, a
Yeah.
new life. Like,
Yep.
I don't need it.
I remember when I read it, I was like, ugh, I like it and I want to keep it.
Yeah. And you were so mad. I was like, well, good. I'm glad it's staying there. At least I know where it is.
Yeah, if you want it back, I could send it back to you to read,
I'll never. But, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my dad's here. Rashly, I know that's true about letting them go, but I can't. Yeah, you have a real problem.
Right.
Hey, Dad, it's your intervention. You have a real problem about that.
Well, listen, Larry has the room, right? For the
He's a
moment?
whole room. Yeah,
Okay.
Currently at least.
Currently, he
Yeah.
has room.
I
Okay.
think he'll run into an issue at some point.
And maybe when that issue pops up, then he'll have to like, maybe he'll feel differently,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah. I think at this point, like, there's so much on his TBR that is not shelved that I'm like, I think if you shelve all that, Dad, like, you may have an issue.
Okay.
But at this point, like, he has a dedicated place for those that are
Yeah.
it's not a permanent place.
Right.
Also, he just can't stop. Now I'm talking about my dad, but he just can't stop buying stuff the moment it comes out. And I've told him and Jess, you don't need to do that.
Right.
This stuff doesn't go out of print immediately anymore. It's not happening.
Right.
I got half the Omnis he got for like 60% off on that IST sale that he paid full price for. Not full price, sorry. Full discounted price.
Right. 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 Right.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying. Anyway, one of my goals that I think is quite broad, but I really want to like stick to this year, and there's a reason, and I will reference something I made as well, but read more prose. I know that's so simple, and yes, I am the TheComicSlayer apparently, but not that I'm not going to read comics all year. Of course I am. However, I did go through the prose I've read this year, and I read a good amount, more than I think I had of in the past, right?
Okay.
Still not enough as far as how many I own and like what I read, right?
Yeah.
So just a quick little, this is the list of prose I read this year. All
Okay.
right. It's decent. It's not like probably on your level, right? But it's decent. I think there are about 20 or maybe a little bit more, something like that. Um, I just want to read even more. You know, I had a great time. I think every prose book I read, I really, really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, I buy a lot of prose that sits there apparently. So I really want to get through more of it. I want to have a better time with it. I just want to like love all my reading and not just like focus on comics. I know y'all listening, you're like, oh no, no. I'm still gonna read a ton of comics all the time. However, I just want to make sure I'm always reading a prose book.
No, I love that. And realistically, we're probably the opposite, right? I read more prose than I do comics and graphic novels and stuff. So might be a good am I supposed to say I'll read more comics?
I mean, you can.
We'll like balance things out, right?
Yeah,
Like
we'll like get better in the even. Yeah.
for the sake of your channel. No, but that's fun. And like I counted once.
I count once in a while.
Uh,
Bit more. Okay, good for you, Deb.
all
Anyway,
right,
sorry.
Larry. Larry knows what's what. He's a stats guy.
Yeah.
So I like that. Of course I like that you're going to read more prose, and that's why I like this environment in your channel. It's very accepting of all reading, you know.
Yeah.
But like I mean I get it, you know. You're the comic slayer, but I think everybody for the most part that watches your channel, they do a little prose reading. So
Yeah, and even if it's just like always having a
yeah.
book on my nightstand or whatever, like I'm doing that right now, and it's been working really well for me. You know,
Yep.
I'm still reading comics, I'm still reading stuff for shows and everything, but also right now I'm reading like this book, right? Like we're both reading this book. You, the actual book's not nearby, but there you go. Which I'm very much enjoying, by the way.
Me too.
Jessica, that's so interesting, Kristen. So this year I looked back and I had not read as many comics as usual, and
Hmm.
honestly, not many great ones. Finding balance is hard. That's so true. And I feel again, I really feel like all the prose I read, all the nonfiction, like everything, really hit well for me this year. And it
Hmm.
wasn't a ton, you know, out of my 200 something I've read, you know, just 20, 21 or something around there. Still, still, that's a good percentage as far as
Yeah.
what I've read, you
Yep.
know. Same here, Mary. I mostly read prose, but I own many comics I need to read. It would be nice to balance things out more. Totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really I think what we're all aiming for, right? Is some balance, you know. Balance feels, I don't know about everybody else, but balance feels very like warm and cozy to me.
Yeah,
When I don't have balance, I can't yeah, it's not good. Not good.
I hear you. And it, you know, helps. I think you're right, though. It just helps break up everything, right?
Yeah.
Like I could read comics all the time, and I've done that. I've done that some years, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but I like having this balance
Yep.
more.
Yep.
Jessica's trying to turn us into stands over here. I think it's happening. I'm really enjoying it. So
Nice. All right. So my next one is well, first off, I am on this website, Free Booksy. I'm always on this website. It's free ebooks. I probably get 1 to 2 per day, and I've been doing that for years. So I have all these ebooks, a lot of cozy mysteries. Those are a lot. And they're every genre is available through Free Booksy, but I tend to, you know, grab the cozy mysteries. I can't even count how many ebooks I have. Like I put on my list, read some of my ebooks. I'm not even like
you're like,
I'm
I'm not
not
going to
even like
quantify this. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh, 2 a month. No. Just Mary, could you try harder to like read some of your ebooks that you have been stockpiling for years? Um, and I don't know why I don't. I mean, I'm sure it's like the whole ebook, physical book thing. I can read comics digitally like nobody's business. But when it comes to reading prose on my one of my many e-readers, I don't know. I'm just not that great at it. And I can't even come up with obviously everyone's going to say, "Oh, I love to, you know, hold a book, you know, physical book," which I totally am one of those people. But I have every e-reader possible, and particularly the Kindle is a delight to read on. I don't know what the problem is, but I don't know. That would make me happy. Like if I just read like a handful of my ebooks, like when we talk at the end of next year, I'd be like, I would love to be like, hey, look, I read
You did it.
5 ebooks or 3 ebooks. I'd be thrilled. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, which by the way, I do intend to do a check-in on these goals at the end of next year. So that feels like forever from now, but I'm sure we'll be saying, "Oh, that year went by," at some point. I love that goal for you. You know, I should. You know what? Maybe I'll add something to like the effect of using my e-reader more because I don't
Right.
touch it.
Yeah, I
And I
know.
think that's always a good goal. You know, and you have multiple ones you need to touch, right?
I know, I do. And particularly, like, I do with the Libby app, like anything I borrow from the library digitally, I can read on my Kindle. So, like, that would be another way to also, like, that bleeds into, like, maybe not buying so many books, right? And, oh, I just thought of another goal. I'd,
Throw it in. Let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
throw it in while I thought of
Yeah.
it. I would love to get more in the habit of, like, whether it be, utilizing the library or reading an ebook and then saying like, oh yeah, you know what? I love that book so much. I want to add it to my library instead of going the reverse, right? Like buying something and then, yeah, it's great if you buy something first and you love it, then you have it and own it. But let's be honest, most times when that happens, first off, you might not read it right away. And then you might not love it. So, and even like we said, you might love it, but it's like, am I going to reread this thing? Like, do I need to have it on my shelf? So yeah, so that reading more, using my e-reader more could lead to making my physical library collection at home better, like in a roundabout way, you know?
Yeah, love that. And I did read some on my Kindle to my list because I'm not
Excellent.
going to be specific either, just some. Even if
So
it's like 2 books, I'll be like, cool, I did it.
just make the attempt, try harder. I love it.
Yeah. You might not read it right away. I feel called out. We all feel called out, I think, for that
Right?
one.
Oh.
Okay, so my next goal is listen to more audiobooks at work.
Ooh.
So I
Ooh.
found, you may remember, you write something down, you may remember that when I started to do this, when I finally got like some wireless earbuds I put on at work, I was like, this is so great. I read like 2 audiobooks in 1 week. It was so wonderful. And then it just fell apart. Now, every now and then I'll put one on and I'll find one. My ultimate issue with doing that, I can't do fiction. I cannot put in a fiction audiobook at work and pay attention to it and pause it, keep pausing it when something comes up. I have to answer a phone or something. You know, that's very hard for me. But if I find the right nonfiction audiobook, I can breeze through them at work. And it is
Yeah.
such a good feeling to get through them. And so I had so many good ones. You know what? Let me refer to that list. I had so many great ones that I did at work. Let's see. The last one I did, have I told you this already? Stories I Don't Want to Forget to Remember by Lauren Graham. Listen to that one at work. It was such a great time. Oh, let's see. Tiny Beautiful Things, Advice on Love and Life from Dear Sugar. Listen to that one at work. The sporty one, My Life as a Spice Girl by Mel C.
Ooh. 40 Spice reference.
Yep. Every time.
Spice Girl.
I'm Glad My Mom Died. I listen to that one at work. Like, there's so many great nonfiction ones I listen to at work. So I think I just like maybe need to compile a good list because when I'm at work and I'm in the mood to like throw in an audiobook, I'm looking through Libby and I'm like, oh man, like this thing is, I got to put this on hold. I got to put this one on hold. This one isn't there
Yeah.
yet. So I think I need to like maybe as part of this goal, like plan out some good nonfiction listenings to always have something going on, you know?
That makes sense because like with nonfiction, you feel like someone's telling you a story versus fiction where you have to like, okay, you have to learn all these characters. You're like, is this one lying? Is this one
Right.
is this an unreliable narrator? Like there is way more thinking involved. Whereas, especially you could correct me if I'm wrong, the audiobooks that you're listening to are like like actors, celebrities, public figures telling their
Sure.
story, and you know a little bit about them before you go into it. So I'm sure that helps. So it makes total sense why you wouldn't be able. I give you credit. Like when I'm at work, either I usually have something on playing in the background, but I don't know if I could do the audiobook thing because everybody bugs me at work. So
That's fair. And some days I certainly can't.
yeah,
It really depends on the day, or I'll start one. So lately I've just been listening to podcasts because
yeah. Oh, that's
I
good.
don't have to like focus as hard as an audiobook.
Yeah,
But you're right. I love a graphic memoir. I love a celebrity memoir or something
right.
like that.
Yeah,
Or the Lauren Graham book was even like stories from her life. The Dear
right.
Sugar thing was like also nonfiction, just stories from someone's life. So I
Right.
love something like that. So if anyone has any suggestions, by the way, please let me know. I'm like 110th on Matthew Perry's audiobook right now, so I don't know when I'll get that one.
You're
As far as
so
the whole
close.
line, you rest that you that, and I want to listen to it, but I'm not there yet.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. But I think that's what I like about it. It's like an audio book or an audiobook, sorry, a podcast. I can't talk today.
It's okay.
It's like a podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Someone's just like talking in your ear, telling stories about their life. So I can handle that more than
Right.
other things.
That makes sense. You're making me think, oh, I could add a little goal of like maybe listening, like taking my issue is at work, which I guess we all go through this. Like, some days I don't actually take a break, and maybe
Mm,
I could work harder at making sure I do, even if it's just like 15 minutes, right? Maybe
yeah,
during that time, just take a walk and listen to an audiobook, just to kind of make myself take the break.
it's a good idea because
Yeah.
I've definitely had those days too, and it feels like it angers me. I'm like, I didn't even get a break today. I'm just like,
Yeah, and, like, it doesn't benefit us at all by not doing
oh,
it. Like, not at all. So, sorry, I'm playing with my little, group.
aw,
I
love
have
him.
Isn't he cute?
How
Where did
cute.
I'm asking you, where did I get this? I feel like
I don't know.
didn't we get this in some box? Like, you
uh,
made me buy some
oh,
box?
that's right. I was like, where is mine? It's in the other room.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those Marvel collectors box things.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, cute.
sorry.
Jessica says audiobooks for the win. One of my reading intentions is to do more audiobooks on my daily walks over podcasts.
Nice.
I love podcasts, but I ultimately feel more productive, satisfied when I finish prose. That's exactly how I feel. Like I've been listening to podcasts nonstop at work and I've had a great time, but I'm
Mhm.
also like, oh man, how great would it be if this were an
Right.
audiobook that I was
Yeah.
finishing something, I was, getting reading done. It's just not the same, but I think that's a great goal.
It's interesting, right? I think almost podcasts, I know I do this. I view podcasts sometimes as like a distraction in the same way that I view TV can be a distraction for me, which is sort of
Yeah,
absurd because you need to do whatever you need to do to unwind, right? But like,
sure.
I totally get what Jessica's saying.
I feel that too.
I could do more daily walks on my list too, but that's not a reading goal.
Yeah. I love that idea too, just like podcasting or not podcasting, audiobooking while you're walking.
Yeah.
I need to do more of that too. But Brandon says, I listen to all my audiobooks while I drive for work. I can do 2 to 3 hours straight with a good audiobook. That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, my commute this year was thankfully cut very short. So, like, even I used to listen to some like 10 minutes of an audiobook on my way to work. Now I just voice memo Mary in the morning.
Yeah, it's like Kristen, like, hey, on my way to work.
Yeah,
Uh,
every time.
oh, the stupid traffic. Then
Yeah.
she gets
Oh, I can't park.
yeah, the parking lot. Somebody took her spot.
Yeah.
You know.
Things I'm sure you're very thrilled to listen to.
Well, at that point, I'm on the train, so I'm like, oh, what's
You're like,
Kristen up to?
"Mm,
It's fine.
good deal. Libby loves to make all my holds available the same day. I do not know what I did
Oh,
to piss that girl off. Jessica, Libby, that bee, she's done the same thing to me before. And I go, oh no. Like, because I'll put several things on hold, think it's going to take a long time.
nope.
Suddenly, 3 things come in, and I'm like, oh, there's no way. There's just no way. And what's good about Libby is she's like, you want to just wait a little bit? You
Right.
want me to hold
Right.
off? So it's not too bad, but I've been there.
Yep. Me too. I forget. Is it my turn or your turn?
I think it's your turn. I was talking about listening to audiobooks at work.
Oh, right, right,
Yeah.
right. Oh boy. So I have on my list organize my library better. Now,
Ooh,
this is a convoluted goal because I feel like in order to do that, of course, I'm like, but I need to read a bunch of books before I can start like,
sure.
but that's not really true. When I say organize, I mean like I feel like my classic bookshelf is staring at me. I really need to go through it. I don't need like 10 copies of Jane Eyre. Like I
Are you
have,
sure?
well, maybe how can I have 5 copies? Like
Yeah, that's fair.
it's like it's so excessive, like to the point I don't even know. Sometimes that I'm out and about, I'll see like a cool edition of a classic and I'm like, oh, yeah, I should pick that up. But I'm like, I might already have that. Like I don't even know what I have anymore when it comes to my classics. So they're haunting me, they're staring
Mhm.
at me. But I would love to just right this goal would take care of a lot of different goals, right? And I just feel like right now things are just all over the place. Like putting aside my classic collection, which is bursting at the seams out of the bookshelf. Like if that shelf were to fall on me, we'd have to say goodbye to me
Oh
forever.
no.
I'd be gone. But I just everything else though is a mess. Like I just not a mess to look at, but as far as categories go and genres, like it's just bad. And I would feel so much more at ease if I just organized it better. The other day I took the time. I have another desk, and it was just like a wreck. I was using it to like store mail, anything, everything. And I took the time and I organized it. I threw so much out. I shredded every like a lot of stuff. Like, and I already feel better about my desk. And I'm connecting that to organizing my books. Like I know it'll just be an overall better experience for my reading. But I know you know. It's like it sounds so like simple, but it's not. It's like one of those things you start a project, you're like, why did I start this? You know, like cleaning out a closet or something. But I think I'm
Yeah.
if I
I think
just
you're so right though. Like that'll get like some kind of weight off of you
yeah,
and allow you to read more, hopefully.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good goal.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I need to do that as well, but I don't think I'm going to write it in my long list. But it's in the back of my mind.
Well, let me ask you, like with your I think you've answered this on other shows, but I forget. So with your collection and Reed's collection, are
Mhm.
they probably I'd imagine like maybe his art books and stuff are separate maybe from you.
Yes.
Like do you guys mix anything or no?
Yes. Um Clearly I said that with a question mark. And you know what? I'm looking around me and I'm like, "Oh, I do need to like clean these shelves cuz like there are some things just stuck around like why is wind just on top of some things here? I don't know. Like sheets is over here for no reason. This shouldn't be over here."
Yeah.
But um I don't know. It's we have like this is what we call mostly it's the comics and manga room,
Okay.
right? Um, we have another room beside this one that Reed refers to as his office. Okay.
Okay.
So I do have like 2 shelves in the corner there, just like 2 little Target shelves that have like all my pros.
Oh, okay.
So that the pros is I said all, that's not true. Some pros is contained there. I think it's kind of like your place. Some is out in the living room. There's some
Okay.
shelves over there.
Okay.
Some is upstairs.
All right.
So the prose is bursting a little bit
Yeah.
at certain points. Like all my book of the months are like mostly upstairs, right?
Okay.
Um, but as far as what's in here, because he has some of his comics in there, and I think it's like we usually like will get stuff in, and if he specifically bought that for him, it's staying in
Okay.
his room, right? You know, because this is mostly my room in here, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
his
yeah.
whatever. I mean, one day we may need to overhaul one of these rooms for something else. So I don't know what's going to happen then.
I got
But,
you.
but like, yeah, and there's some stuff, there's overlap in here where I'd be like, oh, that's kind of both of ours. Like, we have like all of our Usagi paperbacks in here. I feel like that's
Okay.
kind of both of ours, right?
Yeah.
But all of his like artist editions, his big art books, his like, I don't know, really comic underground all his underground stuff is like in his room. All of our mini comics are in there. He
Okay.
has way more than me, but I have some, you know. Um yeah, it's kind of a mixture, but there is some like definite like here that's his, this is mine kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky because Kim likes to read. She doesn't read as much as I do, but she doesn't really hang on to stuff like, especially since I've been like, when I donate books, I typically will just take them back to the library. There is one store I will go back and sell sometimes too, but typically I just drop them off at the library because I think it's a good thing to do. The money goes back into the library. It's sold in their book nook, and I'm always creeping around shopping in there myself. So I feel like why not contribute to that collection? But yeah, she doesn't. We don't have. I'm glad because we don't have the space. So I'm glad I'm like the book hoarder here. I'm glad there's not like two of us because I don't know what would happen in that case.
Sure, and I certainly like buy more books than he does,
Okay.
but and we've
Yeah,
both been going through things lately, and he's gotten rid of some books. I'm getting rid of some.
that's cool.
We've got like a little tub near me with
Yeah.
like plastic tub, like full of stuff right now. So we're working on it. I don't know. It's definitely not like a perfect system in this house. We don't have like tons of room either, but it's nice. It's nice. Also, I think I missed Hayden earlier, so sorry, Hayden.
Oh, hey, Hayden.
Sorry I'm late. I started playing Pokemon Scarlet and got distracted. Understandable. I need to
That's
play
all right.
that.
We're here for you, Hayden. Anyway,
Yeah, thanks for being here. Good to see you. What about a room for the cats? That's all the rooms. They're all their rooms. Noir says, speaking of prose, have either read The Name of the Wind by Pat Rothfuss? I'm on my fourth or so reread of that. So great. That has been a book I've been wanting to read for many years now. I've heard many booktubers I love who adore that book. So you know what, Noir Wolf, I'm gonna write this down in my little notebook I told you about. That sounds weird. It's just like a specific. I was telling Mary beforehand that I write, like, people recommend me stuff and I love that. So Noir Wolf, I'm writing your name down. I'm putting it down. But I've been so disorganized about where I write that down. Now I have a dedicated notebook for this. So it's for like little notes for shows and recommendations. So I'm gonna thank you for bringing that book back on my radar because I've wanted to read that for many years and I never have. My work here is
work
done.
here is done. Love that.
Wonderful.
I am also taking note of that title, but I don't have a little notebook in front of me, so I will.
I'll remind you later.
Thank you.
We'll add it to our mini books. Okay, cool. I think I feel like it was Max from Well Done Books who used to have a YouTube channel, now still has an Instagram. I believe it's Well Done Books. Who I loved. I loved this channel back in the day, and he loved that book.
Oh, cool.
My only read goal for 2023 is to read that Buffy prequel about Tara. I want to read that too. Other than that, I'm taking it easy with reading next year because I stress myself out trying to get my Goodreads goal. See, this will bring me to my eventual talk about my Goodreads goal, but I understand that. Definitely been there. And we all need to try not to stress about that. And I will say, change that reading goal. If you're stressing about hitting that reading goal, and it's toward the end of the year, and you're like, I'm definitely not hitting it, change it. Change it and make your life easier. Do that for yourself. I also recommend that to Larry on another video.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Nice. It's funny with reading goals though, right? I don't think the actual number stresses me out. I almost kind of when that happens, like let's say it's mid-year and Goodreads is like, "Hey loser, you have to read 44 books a day to hit your goal."
Right. Yeah.
I just kind of laugh because I'm the one that set the damn thing. So
yeah,
it's my own doing.
Well,
so I guess it doesn't stress. I think I just more so take the moment as like the time to like kind of mock myself and laugh at myself.
I feel the same. Like, and I know people get caught up in that, and I have in the past, but now I'm just like, I'm just going to change it. Like, who cares?
I love that. Yeah.
Like, I started this year at 500. I changed it a few months ago to 200 because I was like, there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that felt good for me. And then when I hit it, it still felt like an accomplishment.
Right.
And,
By the way, you were recently on a show. And I feel like I'm not being vague. I don't remember which show it was on because you do a lot. But
fair.
I feel like you brought up goals or something, and somebody had issue with not like it didn't turn into like a big thing, but somebody made a comment say about like you lowering your goals. Am I making this up?
Yeah, so that has happened
Okay.
multiple times in the
Oh,
past.
okay.
I
Okay.
think it's always when I'm on with Jess for some reason.
Oh.
Someone will say something to me about,
We-
yeah, I don't know. And it's not all the time. There's one specific moment I can remember that I've
Yeah.
referenced. So that could be what you're thinking of too.
Yeah.
But
But I
yeah, because
why
it's
can't
like
we care what you what it,
that's what I'm saying. Why you messing with like why you gatekeeping my goal? I made this up.
no,
I
it's
made this
yours.
up. Like, why do you have a problem with it? I
Right.
made it up 500 at the beginning of the year. I was like, yeah, totally. And that goal made sense for me. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. We're going to go through it later. But I got words for myself. But but and then there was like last year, I think it was, I was like 1,000 and that was stupid.
Right.
So in the middle of the year, I was like, that is stupid. Let's make it 500.
Right.
And I hit it and it was fine. So like leave me alone. Why do you care that I changed my goal number? Who cares?
Yeah, it's just strange to me.
So Hayden, yeah, make it 10. If that's gonna make you
Yeah.
feel better, do that.
Hayden,
Total.
I've seen people do like they'll do 12. Because in their mind they're like, I'll read one a month. And you know what? If
Mhm.
you think about it, if those are it doesn't matter what you're reading, but for some people, let's say somebody's not into reading comic books, right? If you made your goal 12, that if you read 12 like one prose book a month, I think that's so reasonable and completely awesome. Like I don't,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, even like the average person doesn't even read one book a year.
exactly.
That's
If
the
you read
truth.
one, if you read two, then you double. Like
Yeah. And like some people I've seen also set their goal to one because they're like, I don't want to stress about this number. But they
let's
still want to track it, which makes sense. I'm
oh
like,
my god.
good.
Can
Good
we
for you.
I think I'm setting my goal to one.
Do it. Do it.
And then I'll
You're
read
gonna
one manga
nail
and
it.
be like, I did it.
You're like, heck yeah, I did it. Love that. I would like to recommend The Last Unicorn. If you haven't read it, beautiful classic fantasy. There's also a graphic novel adaptation, but I think
Huh.
it's out of print. I think I've seen that graphic novel adaptation somewhere. But okay, Batmanda, I'm writing you down in my list right here. It's
I'm
happening.
curious about the graphic novel adaptation. I wonder if that's something I could get digitally.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Hmm.
The Last Unicorn. Okay, it's going in my book. It's happening. Sorry, now I'm just writing. Good content. Okay.
I love that.
All right. Is it my turn, I guess? Yeah.
I think so.
I want to read more romance in 2023. Listen, Jessica, are you in the chat? Still here, Jessica? It's your fault. It's all your fault. And I think it is. I think Jessica was like, hey, have you read, like, you should maybe read this. I didn't think I'd like it. This was like early in the year. I forget what the title even was. And I ended up really liking it. I don't know what made me do it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is gay and this looks fun. I'll do this. And it just set me down a path this year. I feel like here's smiling all over my face. Great. Jessica, it's all your fault. I don't know how many times I need to mention Delilah Green doesn't care in every single video I ever do, but still my favorite read of the whole year. I loved it so much. As Jessica knows, currently reading this, enjoying this a lot too. It's just a genre I truly never thought I would dive into. And not for really any reason, just it was never really on my radar as something I thought. I don't know. I just never thought about it. It's not even I thought I wouldn't enjoy it. I just never thought about it. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I not to interrupt you, but I think I have to say it's also Jessica's fault because she made you read more of it and then you made me read more of it.
Yeah.
So there we are. Like here we are.
And I'm just so glad that you enjoyed this too. And now you're
Yeah.
continuing. So there's clearly a lot of great titles out there. I'm stoked for more. And it's just, it's a nice palate cleanser, isn't it? It's just going
It
to
is.
give you nice feelings. You're going to just enjoy yourself. And, maybe after you read that really sad graphic novel that you will ultimately read, and that's just a general you and me. But maybe you need something that's going to be lighthearted and just be fun to read. And that's what it's been for me. So I just want to read more and more. I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's
Civic romance evangelism. Absolutely, Jessica. That is a lot of great. Should I reading this because it uses
uh,
Batmanda? Tell me what you think after you read it. That makes me so happy.
You know, it's like one new reader at a time. One new
Yeah.
Delilah Green reader at a time.
Now I'm going to specifically only recommend this to people all the time.
For Christmas, did you buy like a case of those and that's what
I
everybody's getting?
should. I should. I am going to send this to Stephanie. Which, you know what? I don't know if Stephanie's home. I should text her. I didn't tell her about the show. Sorry, Stephanie.
She's gonna be hurt, you know. She's gonna
Yeah.
see that we're 45 minutes into this.
I didn't
And we're like, wait, where's Stephanie?
Whoops. She might not be home. I know she was doing family stuff, so
All right. Well, that's acceptable.
you know, that's fine. But
But
I'm still gonna let her know.
if she's just home sitting around, you know,
Yeah.
be prepared. You're in trouble. All right. So my next one is this is back to the whole buying books category. I have don't buy books just because they're on sale, which I am so guilty of that.
Me too.
I'm looking at you, Book Outlet. I'm looking at you, Hamilton Book. You know, it's like a bad habit, right? I'm like, oh, I had such a long day. I think I should, buy some books. So then you get on the site and you get like 10 books for like $35. And do I really want them all? Am I going to read them? Probably not right away. So I would just like I said in the beginning, I'm still going to be buying books, obviously, but I would just like to try harder to not just do it for the sake of like a good deal, a good price. So that's where I am with that. So will I stick to it? I don't know. If I don't, it's okay too. But it's all about trying.
I get that. And I've definitely been guilty of the same thing, you know, especially when I walk into a half price books like I did yesterday. And I was like, oh, this book is $3 and I vaguely am interested in it. Yeah. Okay. Like, you know, it's hard.
But though I'm thinking is particularly with you, I feel like you find some gems when you go out and do that.
That's fair. Yeah.
You're, you know, like all the cat books particularly.
Yeah. And naturally that will be on my list today.
Yeah.
Because I have too many. But yeah. And this does kind of lead me to my next goal, which is read all of Ashley Heron Blake's backlog, because
that's very specific.
It is. She, of course, wrote Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Well, I have Hazel Bly, The Deep Blue Sea, The Mighty Heart of Sunny St. James. I know Jessica loves this. Shout out again, Jessica.
Those are on the list that she sent me.
Yeah, there you go. Reads. I'm so excited for these. And of course, I just got the $3 one I mentioned was Suffer Love, which looks kind of not good at all. The cover looks bad. I think it was one of her first things.
Okay.
But I'm determined now. I'm just going to read it all. I don't care. I'm just going to read it all. And I'm stoked about these in particular. So that's a goal I think I can obtain too. Like there aren't too many to go through. And I just want to read everything she's ever done. Oh, I would do an Ashley Heron Blake middle grade reread. Okay, 100%. Let's do it, Jessica. Mary, you in? You wanna do this?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
We'll have to plan that later.
Okay,
for sure.
Oh wait, are you up? Am I up?
I'm up again.
I think. Wait, no, you just did the. Oh my god.
It's okay.
I'm bad at this.
We're both not here. It's fine.
Okay, this one is a little, it's not really a goal, it's more of a question, because I go back and forth on this every year about Goodreads ratings. And there are times I don't want to do ratings. I don't want to do, like, I want to personally log them, but how am I going to do that? Right? I do like the fact that I can go back, like it's happened before with us. We're talking about a book. I'm like, I don't remember what I thought of that. And I go back and I gave it 5 stars. I'm like, oh, guess I loved it.
Right.
But I don't know. I have on my list Goodreads ratings, continue or stop. You know I'm going to continue, but I am tempted. You know what it is? Because sometimes maybe I think too hard, but like sometimes I feel bad. Like just because I don't like a book, and let's say I really hated something and I want to give it 1 or 2 stars, there is a larger piece of me that feels bad. Like who am I to say? Like somebody's hard work and dedication, they probably were, you know, this is their life, this is their livelihood, and here I am like, duh, I'm gonna give it 1 star, I hated it. like part of me is like, because I know that those numbers could be used elsewhere, and it could, I guess, potentially hurt the artist, the writer. Bothers me. Maybe, like, again, maybe I think too hard into it, but I do think about it when I go to give something a lower rating. It's
Mm-hmm.
if it's a good rating, then I'm like, oh, it's helping them. So if I think it's helping, I don't know.
I get what you mean, but at the same time, you're making me wonder if I shouldn't do my worst books of the year.
Oh no.
That I want to do real bad. But I get what you mean. I will say, I feel like Jessica may have opinions on that because I've noticed Jessica does not rate anything.
Oh yeah.
And every time I'm like, I wonder what she thought about that. I'll never know. Oh, here she goes. Yes, I feel this rating struggle, especially for debut authors or authors who are minorities or writing about minority main characters. I usually just not rate it at all if I do not like those. Fair. I've never seen you rate anything, Jessica, but maybe I'm not looking hard enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could do that, right? If I want to rate something low, I just won't rate it, and I'll just mark it red.
Yeah, and I've seen plenty of people do that, you know?
Maybe that. Thank you, Jessica. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Hello, Marcelo.
Marcelo.
Welcome. I think that's a good idea, especially if you're having like any sort of anxiety about it. Like, yeah, don't hurt yourself, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know. I know others don't think that far into it. Well, Jessica does, but I don't. I just don't want to be part of, you know.
Sure. That's
But
not totally makes sense.
listen, but sidebar, you should do the shows that you want to do. I don't make you feel bad. Like,
I mean, I wasn't going to dedicate a whole show to it. We'll get to it. But
all right.
Just because as I rate maybe 50% of what I read, always rate if I love it or like it a lot. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Let's see, Batmander. I experience the struggle when I feel like a book goes over my head. Like a large part of why I don't love it is because I don't completely understand it. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think I run into that sometimes with reading classics because, you know, the language is going to be, you know, it's going to be old language, and, you know, it's a good point too.
For sure. Okay, so the thing I teased earlier, I am determined and I'm going to do the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge for 2023.
Oh, tell us.
So every year, Book Riot, it's a great website, one of my favorite book podcasts out there as well. They put on a Read Harder Challenge. Okay, so they give you a list of things. I'm going to read some of them right now if you're curious, because guess what? Haven't looked at it. I just know every year I look at it and I'm like, that's cool. I would like to do that. And the whole purpose is to read harder, like challenge yourself to read outside of maybe something you wouldn't normally read. They have certain like interesting things on their list as well, typically. So I have it in another window. Let's look at it. And by let's, I mean I'm going to look at it and read it to you. So number 1, read a novel about a trans character written by a trans author. Love that. Yes, okay. Can do, will do, love that. Number 2, read one of your favorite author's favorite books. Love that too. Ooh. Okay, so interesting prompts, interesting things. Read a book about activism. Already have one in mind for that. Wonderful.
Wow.
Read a book that's been challenged recently in your school district / library, or read one of the most challenged / banned books of the year by a queer and or BIPOC author. Love that too, because as we know, unfortunately, tons and tons and tons of great books are often challenged, especially in my area. Can easily do that. Would love to do that. I don't have to go through all these, but read a completed webcomic, finish a book you've DNF'd.
Oof.
Yeah, that one's rough. Listen to an audiobook performed by a person of color or of a book written by an author of color. Read a graphic novel, comic, manga if you haven't before, or read one that is a different genre than you normally read.
Ah, that one's looking at you, Larry, if you're still watching.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on here. There's only 24, but they're all interesting and different. Read a book of short stories, read a YA book by an indigenous author, read a comic or graphic novel that features disability representation. So really cool, like things that help you read outside of maybe how you normally would, to see the world differently as well. I always like their list, and I never do it. There's only 24 prompts on there. I'm like, I can do this. I got this.
All right, I'll take a look at it. I don't do so well with the ones that are very specific, but I'm gonna try. That sounds interesting.
Well, and it's some, like a lot of these I've already like, I have ideas. So if you need to help as well. Also, I think they do like have a whole different section where they suggest some for you if they
Oh,
are
okay.
very specific. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I like this one too. Read a book with under 500 Goodreads ratings. I've already done that this year. That's actually not hard when you're really into graphic novels,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
like
that's true.
more independent ones. Sometimes I even have to add those to Goodreads. And I'm like, well, there's 0 ratings currently. What's that list called again? It is the Book Riot 2023 Read Harder Challenge. I'll put that in the description for you guys later if you want to check it out. But if you just Google that, you'll find it too. But I'm excited for that. I never do it. Every year I look at it, I'm like, this is great. I never do it. So we'll see.
Love that. All right. So I have next, I put in quotes, journal my reading. And by that, I mean not actually journaling, but just, getting more in the habit of writing down, like, and you encouraged me to do this, just writing down what I'm reading, book recommendations, little like if I had a notebook in front of me now, like I'd be writing down the Book Riot thing.
Mm.
Just getting more in the habit of that because it's just it's so relaxing to do, and I've kind of gotten away from that. I used to be such a list person. I mean, at work I have lists going constantly, but I just kind of let my personal life go to the wayside, like so I think I want to just get more active in writing down when I'm, my thoughts on reading, things I want to get to, it could be anything, lists, challenges like this. Like I can't count how many times, all the booktube watching that I do. There's all these different challenges, right? Like all these reading challenges, and to the point where people even print out like little bingo board looking things. And as they
Yeah.
read stuff, they check them off. And I'm always like, that looks so much fun. And I act as if I'm like this, person, like I'm like a bystander. I'm like, but in reality, hello, I can print out the little chart if I think it'll be so fun. Like, why don't I do that for myself? It seems so easy, right? And I feel like a little silly saying it out loud, but that's just like what I end up doing. Like I don't do like I'll actually watch and just think like, oh, that looks so much fun. Why aren't I how come I'm not doing it? Right.
Yeah, totally. And I've totally been there too,
Yeah,
and I've told you about my struggles with like keeping up on my book tracking like physically and like
exactly.
but I'm determined this year. We've talked about it. I have a
Yes.
Hobonichi right here. I'm
Yep.
gonna make this my books I've read, TBR stuff, just like whatever I need to put in here.
Yeah.
And it's small, so I won't feel too daunting, I feel like.
Right.
And we'll see how it goes.
Which, by the way, I set mine up. Did I send you a picture? I set mine up yesterday, and just put it. So far, I just put in dates like, Kim bought some like, tickets to stuff. So I put, it's not till like next summer. So I like put everything in my planner and,
Nice.
but I noticed in the back of that thing, there's like a note section,
Yeah.
which I think I'll probably use that. I'm going to use for like book recommendations. So when I'm out and about, I'm not like clueless on things that I'd like to pick up and stuff.
That's a good idea, especially like there's like 75 note pages in here. So
Yeah.
like there's a good little chunk at the back
Yep.
too.
Exactly. So yeah, and then I'm going to ask you for your. I might jump into the larger planner like you bought for.
Oh, yes.
I'm just
The
afraid
one
I
I'm
will.
reading my goals out of.
Yes. I just don't know if I'll use it, so I have to really think about that.
I understand that. And I will say though, like, so they have a monthly view here.
Mhm.
And like I said, you can pick whatever, like color and version, whatever.
Mhm.
There's a month overview page here, which I've been using to like keep track of my shows if I know them in advance.
Oh, that's cool.
As well as this is just the week. So I find this not too daunting. This actually for like one day,
Yeah.
I don't even need to use all of the like sections. I don't always. And when I add stickers to this, there's even less room to fill out, which
Yeah.
is less daunting as well, right? But yeah, and over here usually I'll put like what I need to read for like shows.
Yeah, I mean, you're on so many shows, like you definitely need a system like that, I think, right?
I do,
It
yeah.
would be confusing if you didn't.
And sometimes it still is. Every year I try to keep a bullet journal and I never make it more than a few months. I feel that so much, like this planner thing I did last year, and I think I've mentioned on the shows before, but like, oh, it was so good for like the first month at least, and then I just fell out of it. I totally fell out of it. I'm like trying to even find how I went. Yeah, like see, here's one good, okay, but then I really fell out of it the next. Yeah, it wasn't great.
The one thing I have been getting much better at since I started doing these shows with you, like I write down since our like I put the date down since we last did like one of our, like Friday reads, Saturday reads, so that the next time that we, meet up, I'll have a list of what I've read since then. And I am really enjoying that because I feel like it's giving me this like extra level of like accomplishment. Because like I have it on Goodreads, but like to check it off is just like I'm like I love doing that. It's just different from like clicking a button on Goodreads. So
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So you went, right?
I did.
Okay, so this is broad, but read more outside my comfort zone. I think the book Riot Read Harder Challenge accomplishes a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And by comfort zone, I mean I'm very open to like reading different things, but I still do fall into like what I like, the end. And maybe there's more out there that I do like that I don't know about yet, I feel like there's like I'd like to dabble in maybe like a sci-fi book or something, right? I have not read like really much of any sci-fi, like just various things that I think I'd probably enjoy, but I've never really like stepped into.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say you're the most like I understand what you're saying, but you're the most like open-minded reader that I know. So I think that's like very honest of you to be like, yeah, but there's other areas and different genres and stuff that I haven't read. So,
Well, thank you for that. That's
sure.
Nice. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. It's interesting though. Like, I'm just thinking, if I'm being honest, like sometimes people are like, not when it has to do with reading, but you know how like you'll see like all these memes, these inspirational sayings like, push past your comfort zone, do something that makes you feel uncomfortable today. And I can't help it. There's this bigger part of me that's like, no. I'm freaking stressed out. I work hard.
No, I get that.
I have anxiety. No, but I'm just kind of laughing at myself.
I do get that though.
But when it comes to reading, I mean, I do like the idea of, in the sense of reading outside of my comfort zone, I do like that when it comes to reading, because it could mean that I'll find a whole other arena of reading that I will enjoy, and whether it be just out of entertainment, I can learn something. Like, it is exciting to think of it that way, right? And I think that's what people mean when they say that. It's not like reading something because like you have to or you should. Yeah. It's you don't know what's out there, right? I mean, and just look at us with with these books now. Like,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. See, like I feel like I did that this year by picking up the first romance I did.
Exactly.
And not just opening my mind to it and not assuming it was one thing or another, which I think a lot of people have assumptions about that genre, especially.
Yeah.
And really most any genre, I feel like, but like that one, I think it's a really bad rep as well.
Exactly.
Open my mind to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like my new favorite thing, which I never thought I would say, but I did. So I think that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's probably even more out there,
of course,
that I probably love that I haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
James, how about a goal to read more Superman comics? That's far too outside of my comfort zone. Funny, but there are some things that
You'll
Now,
read more. You'll read more Superman if Jess reads more. What's her face?
manga.
Oh, manga. No, it's gonna the squirrel. What's her name? The Squirrel Girl.
Oh, yeah, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
if only. Yeah.
I caught him on another show. He was reading. You know what he calls her? Unreadable squirrel.
Yeah. He thinks he's really funny.
He's so clever, that Jess.
Yeah. I like the way you phrase that. Mary makes total sense and feels
Hmm.
like less like homework and more like exploration. That's exactly it too, right? Like
Thanks, Jessica.
I have referenced many a reads to Mary saying I have to do my homework reading today
Mm.
because I'm such a mood reader and certain shows are not decided by me and I feel like I have to like now I have to read that for
Yeah.
this thing. And I almost put this down. Reed was like, "Oh, you need to," and I'm like, "Well, I can't really." But he was like, "You need to do less homework reading this year," and I'm like, "Well, for this coming year." I'm like, "Yes, however, I still have priorities, right? I still have like shows I have to do, and I have to read stuff for."
Here's the thing. I'll take blame it all on me. You want me to reach out to Maddie and Jess? And I'll be like, guys,
Stop making her do that. Yeah,
listen, not, and I say this with, as Jess says,
with
peace
peace
and
and
love.
love.
Like, honestly, and everybody's different, but I like to watch the kind of videos or live streams that are just more conversations about books. I don't necessarily need to see book reviews every time. Like,
Mm,
when I show up, half the like when you and Maddie are talking about like One Piece, I'm like, I told you before, I'm like, you two, because I don't read One Piece, I'm like, you guys sound like you're high on something. Because like, you're talking about
sure,
pirates
that's
and
fair.
stuff. I'm like, but I show up every time because I like the two of you. I like to hear you two talk and have interesting conversations about reading. And I don't care what book you're talking about. So like the actual review part is like, I mean, cool. But like you get what I'm saying though.
Absolutely,
I'm like
yeah.
half teasing, but also half like, I would love for you, and I'm with Reed on this. Like, I would love for you not to have as much homework reading.
I would
Um,
love that too. I
you know,
would love that.
because then you'll be reading more of the things that like you pick on your own, and then I think you'll have that leads to more interesting conversations because you reached for it yourself and that's what you
Mhm.
wanted to read. And on both sides, right? Like, if Maddie did that or Jess did that, think about like your Jess shows that you do that are just like you guys just going off the chat. Like those are really fun, like it's just open conversation. But all right, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, I agree with you. That's all I can say right now. I absolutely agree with you. Wait. What are those Buffy books with the reddish spines behind you? You mean
Oh,
the horrific Boom Buffy books that I is that what you're referencing, Hayden? Unfortunately, it's just Boom Buffy, good old Boom Buffy, and by that I mean battle. I do love the design of these books though. They are quite nice. Except the first one where the spine's falling apart. When I read it once, very much still mad about it. Thanks,
that's
Boom.
that's scary.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. Um, is it your turn or me?
I know I talked so long. You probably think I took a turn, but I was just like going
Sorry. Go
about your
ahead.
homework reading. Um, my next one is this. You'll laugh at this one. You might want to take it on as well, though.
Okay.
I have at least read one Omni. I'm giving myself 2 months. Every 2 months, at least read one Omni.
Okay.
I think that's fair, right?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I have so many, and they are unread, and I'm embarrassed by it. Like, I just
Mary, I have an Omni goal as well written down.
do you?
It's a bit more,
Okay.
not by much, but read at least 10 omnibus. That's what I set mine to.
All
Now,
right.
I think about, I have some behind me, like I'm going to actually open the slot She-Hulk for an upcoming show.
Okay.
And at least read the first, what is it, 12 issues. But this isn't that crazy. Look at this guy. He's
Yeah, that's
not a huge
reasonable.
boy here. You know what I mean? So there's that. There are smaller ones throughout. Like, okay, there's this Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane I've never opened. Look at how little this guy is. So My aim is going to be at some of these smaller ones, I believe.
Smart. That's
The
smart.
little Howard the Duck one I just got, you know. But also, yes, just generally behind me, I need to absolutely read more of these as well. I think we all feel that way, don't we?
Maybe this will be the year we read our Muppets Omni.
You know what? They are small. Maybe
Right?
we should do that.
Do it.
Accidental buddy read? Yeah. Chris says he agrees with you. More often than not, I haven't read the books they have read. I just like to hear them chat. Well, thank
Nice.
you, Chris. I
Nice.
appreciate that. Hate an OU.
Oh,
Boom, getting me all interested about garbage with that pretty spine. I know they are nice spines, but I don't know why they're on my shelf. Jessica says, I want to keep exploring adult fantasy. I found some I like a lot, but it's been hard. And I think I just need to explore different setting inspirations, not just European. And that's such a broad genre with a lot going on. It's part of me, like I've watched booktube videos on adult fantasy. I've like went down a rabbit hole thinking, oh yes, I'm gonna read this or that or this or that. And I never do. And I think what gets me about that is, and I feel like an idiot saying it, if there's like a huge cast of characters that I have to like remember their names of, and sometimes they're hard to remember names. If there's a map involved, I know people love maps, but I'm like, mostly if there's a huge cast of characters, I'm like, I may not be able to follow this. And that's my own brain's fault, I guess. And I feel stupid saying it, but that is the hiccup I find with some of that for me. But I would still be interested in certain books in the genre that I've heard about a lot that I'm like, oh, that sounds really fun. Maybe that's my own problem I have to get over, you know?
No, I'm the same way with characters. Any book, I'm just like, wait a minute, who is this? Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
You're married to who? I'm with you on that. I think it can be if especially if it's new to you, like if the writing is all so it's like a different genre, and then there's like 50 characters, but maybe Jessica will guide us to something that's
Yeah, Jessica, is there something more that we can handle? Jessica, oh guru of ours, please. Batman to Kristen. I've always wondered if there was a Moomin's book on the shelf behind you. Okay. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to move my ink aside.
Oh, I see it now.
So there's actually a lot going. I need to fix my shelves because here we go. So there is the first Moomin book I have behind me. Is very nice. I love the spine. Look at how nice that spine is. This is the original stuff. And of course there is a ribbon.
Looks beautiful.
So yeah, very beautiful book. I need to read through these fully. I've read some of that, but I haven't even opened the second one. So maybe that should be a goal that I have this year. But this is the second one, which is also beautiful.
I know nothing about Moomin. Is Moomin a hippo?
Let me open one. I believe they are not like categorized as something specific.
Oh, look at me labeling.
Unless I'm wrong.
I apologize.
Unless I'm wrong. Batmanda may know better. They do look like hippos, but I think they're just little Moomin. They're called Moomin, I believe. But black and white strip art. It's very fun and weird. Nice. And I haven't read a ton of these, so Batmanda may know more than me, surely. But I just love this art. And I think I got these like for a really good price back when they this one especially, I think it was heavily discounted.
Nice.
So yeah, that's something I want to actually read all of. I keep hitting my camera. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Chris says, I think you could probably count 2 Omnis with Gwenpool and Squirrel Girl coming out. Oh, you're so right. And those won't be like huge chonkers. Love that.
When do those come out? I should know, but I don't.
Gwenpool is this month. What day is it? Listen, I'm not sure. Here's the deal. What I've done this year, and I probably will continue to do, is not know when Omnis come out. Because I'm not trying to buy everything. And if I know when they're coming out, I'm more likely to, you know what I mean?
It creates like the whole craze.
I guess, but you know what? At the same time, I think I'm over it. Like, I don't feel the need to immediately buy something. However, I will probably immediately buy Gwenpool and Squirrel Girl because I want to support them too. I already know I love them, so
Yeah. Yeah.
they're two I've been waiting for. Giving myself another small reading goal: read more
Huh.
Archie comics because I've been delving into the pre-Wade reboot stuff, and it's fun. Well, good.
I
Love
like
that.
that.
Oh, Jessica's got recommendations for us. There's one coming out in January. Okay,
All right.
we're gonna write that down. All right. Um, yes, Hayden, Love and Archie palette cleanse. Yeah, that's wonderful. Gwenpool next week and Squirrel Girl February. Thank you, Chris. Now I know.
Chris.
I knew it was coming out soon. Those are so nice. Who are they published by? I don't think I've seen those editions before. It's Drawn and Quarterly. I don't know how available they are now, but I know the first one used to be pretty discounted at a lot of places. So
Cool.
hopefully that's the case. Was that me or you? I can't remember.
Why is it so hard to remember?
I can't remember.
I'm just like, I'm here just talking, like, I don't know. You want me to just go?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah. I have too many anyway. So.
I know. I have 2 more, so.
There we go. You can go.
But I promise, as I always do, I'll comment on every word you say. I would like to read more nonfiction. I have a ton of it on my shelves, all very interesting topics that I obviously, I bought the books. I'm interested in them. I would just like to read more nonfiction. I think it fits the bill for like you mentioned with prose, like always having one going, and it might be a good, having it on the nightstand kind of book, and reading a little bit each night before bed. I'm not going to go crazy with saying, oh, I'm going to read, X amount more. I would just like to read more nonfiction. Even though I read to escape, I would like to also maybe learn a few things along the way.
Sure.
So I think by reading some nonfiction, that reading goal will cover actually a lot of other goals that I have, just by doing that. So there it is. That's my nonfiction goal. And like you mentioned, though, I could also cover that by doing it via audiobook as well.
That's what I was going to say. That may be a great way to get through those.
Yeah.
Even like, I don't know if you do it, but sometimes I'll have a physical book. But if I'm at work or something, like I'm going to just get the audiobook and get through it,
Yep, I do that too. I go back and forth.
Yeah, good deal.
Oh, no.
Oh, I have to run, but I was inspired, excited to finish the stream later today. Love that y'all started doing this in 2022. Oh, Jessica, thank you.
Have a great day, Jessica.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
You'll have to join us sometime, Jessica.
That'd be fun.
Hayden looked up those Moomin books, and they're still pretty easy to find. Okay, good. Batmanda, go buy them. Bad Influence, go buy them.
Go buy them.
Oh, let's see. Where am I at now? I want to bookstagram more of my reads. So
yes.
and that's inspired by you, Mary, because you're so good at it. You do it at such a good rate.
Thank
and
you.
I feel like you're always posting something, but like in a great way. And I'm just like, why am I'm just never doing it. I had a lofty goal at the beginning of the year that I'd bookstagram every single read I read, and that immediately fell off real fast. So I want to try to do maybe not that exactly. I'm not giving myself a specific goal because I think that's just going to stress me out.
Yeah.
But I just want to get in the habit of doing it more. So.
Well, in your defense, you do so many shows that, like, I understand that. I mean, this is the one show I do with you pretty much once a week. So you typically have a lot of other things going on. So I could see why you're not instantly going to like post on Instagram. Like I get that. So.
Yeah, and I think I just like when I finish something, sometimes I don't even remember the next day. Like to even think about putting it on, to take a picture or do anything. And I think half my battle too is I'm like looking around this room. I'm like, I really need to organize this room. That's not a reading goal, but like it's kind of banking off what you said earlier. I'm like, I need to like get this. There's certain shelves, like my manga shelves look pretty good, but there's other things going on I gotta fix,
I get that. I like that. So the last one I have on my list this is very specific. Well, specific for my list. I want to try to read one classic per month. I
Nice.
I think that's very doable. We'll see, but I definitely want to shoot for that goal, because typically whenever I do read a classic, I love it. I think it's like me trying to like go back to my like high school days when I was supposed to be paying attention and wasn't. So I would just love to do that, and I have probably every classic ever written. So it's time that I jump in there and read them. So, and that's
Love
another.
that.
I typically will. That's another genre that I typically will use audiobooks and kind of go back and forth. The audiobooks, particularly with classics, I think are because we talked about like how the language can be old, older language, and I just think you might get a little bit more out of it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think that's a good goal. I do have a classics related goal on
Oh,
my list, but now that you're done, I believe, right?
yes.
I'm just gonna go through my list then, so I'm
Okay.
not gonna jump around anymore. I want to read through my entire mini comics collection.
Ooh.
And here's the thing, Reed has way more mini comics than I do, but I
Mhm.
have developed a collection throughout the years, and I've read some of them,
Okay.
but not all of them. And hey, they're mini comics, so it's
Yeah.
not that crazy of a goal, okay? But there's still so many there that like I haven't dedicated the time to read. Some of them, like I said, probably aren't even on Goodreads, and I'll have to add, which I kind
Mhm.
of look forward to because I'm like, then other people can like use that
Yeah.
information that I put up. Um, but yeah, I want to do that. I think it's totally obtainable. It's one of my goals where I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. That's the one I got. Totally.
By the way, you could do on it. This would cover your Instagram goal. You could do mini comic Mondays and
Oh,
just feature one. That would be.
many com
I
writing
mean,
that down on my notes, Mary. Look at you with the good ideas. Mini Comics Monday.
right?
Monday.
I mean, it's you read one, it gets highlighted. You know.
Love that. And especially because mini comics are typically by smaller creators
Yeah,
and they probably need some shout outs. So
I love it.
love this. What a great idea, Mary. I'm gonna have to TM that for you. I want to reread Lumberjanes in
Oh,
2023. So it's such a joy of a read. It's so fun. And here's the deal, I don't think I ever actually read the ending because my
oh,
hardcovers ended.
right.
And I believe I bought the last issue, but then I fell off at some point, you know what I mean? In the
Yeah.
middle there. So, like, I think there's even a chunk at the end I have not read. So I'm like, I need to fix that. I need to go through the whole thing because what I read, I absolutely love. Plus, I'm hoping there's going to be a Kickstarter next year. We'll see. Try to predict it, put it out in the universe, right?
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a good, like, again, another palate cleanser of something I can read that I know I'm going to enjoy.
Right.
It's going to be good for me. So there's that. Here is the section of my goals where I read at least 10 of things.
Oh
So
my.
so read at least 10 omnis. I mentioned that one.
Okay.
Read at least 10 cozy mysteries.
Oh.
As you know, I have too many cozy mysteries. Dial meow for murder. Okay.
Yeah.
These sort of things. Let's get through them. Why do I have so many? Haven't touched very few of them, right? Get through those. Read at least 10 classics.
Hmm.
I'm with you. I have too many classics that I haven't touched. So I feel like 10's not too. It's not even one a month, right? It's not too ridiculous in my
Right.
head. Read at least 10 cat books. You may be saying, Kristen, what do you mean by cat books? I don't include cat comics. I do not include a
Oh.
cozy mystery.
Oh.
I am specifically referencing a part of my collection that I have not talked about a lot, but of course I have, which is in reference to cats specifically in books, okay? This is called The Fur Person,
My.
which apparently is a classic tale of cat literature, okay?
Is it a classic tale?
It doesn't say that, but it
Oh.
should. This specific edition that I found at, of course, at Half Price Books has these beautiful little illustrations
Oh,
throughout
I
it
love those.
that I adore. And it is quite small as well. But I have a lot of these sort of books, right? Or I have some nonfiction about some cat that doesn't have eyes or something, just like
Yeah, yeah,
that is one that I have. But just like these little stories and stuff that I'm like, I know I'll love these things.
of course.
I need to read them. And these sort of things, I
Yeah.
think I can easily read 10 of these. And this is just an example of one book in my cat collection. I do have another one that I grabbed in case people are like, what else do you have in your cat collection? Things like Cats and Lions,
Oh.
which is a photography kind of book where you get to see, like, here's a cat holding like a fish, and then here's
Oh
here's the
my.
lion with its prey, right? Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that was gonna be that brutal when I opened it. Okay, here's a better one. Here's a cat with his little kitten, and then a
Oh.
lion with its baby. Okay.
Oh.
There is some words throughout, by the way. But these sort of things. Like, this is such a little nice
Yeah.
joy that I can look through.
This category reminds me of you probably have the book. You're gonna pull it off the shelf. What's that library cat? The famous Dewey? Is his name Dewey?
Dewey, yes. I have that book
Of
in the
course
other
you do.
room.
So that made me like this when you said cat books, it made me think of
Yeah.
that.
I haven't read it. Have you read it?
No. I just see that book everywhere.
It does seem to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's one I should actually read, because of course I have it. Read at least 10. This is my last 10. Read at least 10 short story collections.
Oh, nice. I like that.
So, yeah, and I found I enjoy a short story collection. It's easy to jump in and out of those too, right? I
Yes.
feel like that's a good one to leave by your nightstand.
Yep.
So, like, you could just jump in, read one before bed, things like that. There's plenty of, like, I don't know. I can think of several on my shelf that I'm like, I haven't touched those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be fun. I would also like to read more book series. So, I think about the cozies. I have many cozy series at this point that
Yeah.
I think I would enjoy. This has become a series as well that, of course, I'm enjoying. So I think about those sort of things too, where I know I started, like, Written
Right.
in the Stars, I read earlier this year. That's a 3-book series now, and I never continued it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I need to go back to that, and I need to read it because I know I'm going to enjoy it, and that sort of thing. So I want to get back into series, because when you like a series and you can wait for it to come out,
Yeah.
how great is that feeling too? Like, that's so great. Like, when Astra came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've never really been excited for a prose in a long time, right?
Yep.
So I'm not referring to comics necessarily, because yes, many series and comics that I'm following, right?
Right.
But more so prose, I guess.
Yeah, that is an exciting feeling. It makes I don't know, it just makes me think about like being young, like being not necessarily a kid, but like maybe a teenager and on, you know, just like where you can't wait for something to come out. Like I know it's different now because we can so easily buy things, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to leave your chair, but it is exciting.
It
You
is.
know?
It totally is.
Yeah.
And wanting to read something day of, like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think I've had that feeling this entire year until Ashton Parker.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's true.
Which
Yeah,
is,
that's
and it was so fun and so nice, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this more.
yeah, absolutely.
So that's one. Read more recommendations from the chat. So
Ooh,
I am
love
specific.
that.
Like I said, I have the notebook now. I'm definitely keeping track. I do, every time I've said it to people who've recommended stuff, I write it down. But I am so, like, I've been disorganized in what notebooks is where, right? So this year I'm going to dedicate, like, here's recommendations.
Nice.
Anyone watching right now, if you have more, let me know. I will write it down. And I do want to do a future video where I only talk about books that people in the chat have recommended me.
That's awesome.
Like, I read those and then I talk about them and I give everybody credit. So if you guys have an idea of a book, graphical novel, or otherwise, let me know and I'll write it down, and maybe you'll be I'll give you a shout out in a future video or something. But I think that'd be really fun. Plus, like, people have such good recommendations, and I'm like,
I know.
I lose track of them so easy. So I'm trying to fix that this year and read more of those. Let's see. I want to read through Eric LaRocca's backlog. So You're laughing.
I'm only laughing because, boy, these are like very specific goals. I love it. I'm like, why didn't I do this?
Well, I mentioned Ashley Here and Blake earlier. I want to read through her backlog. Eric LaRocca, I read one book, and I feel like it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. But I read it that night, and it was a short horror novella that I adored. And I liked it so much. I say that, by the way. I went back to Goodreads. I think I gave it a 4. That I still clearly really like it, but in my head, I'm like, I love it so much. Like, I don't know what happens with time. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. So I'm like, I need to read more. I know I'm going to like them. I've heard like multiple booktubers talk about them. And I actually I have them near me. I own 3.
Whoa, okay.
That I have not read. And I'm like, what's wrong with me?
And it's funny when I see his books in the store, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy that Kristen loves, and I think like I should read him too, but I haven't yet.
I get it, but we can never leave this place. Short. I mean, look at how little this guy is. I need to read this. Why haven't I read this? So like, I have this one. They Were Here Before Us. Okay.
Whoa, these covers are like.
Oh yeah, and I'm saving the most kind of horrific one for last. It's not like I'll show it, but it's called You've Lost a Lot of Blood, so you can just.
That's the one I see in.
It's a little brutal.
A lot, yeah.
But it also like clearly isn't blood. Like it's like it looks like a painting, and it's like red. I don't know. But yeah, I have these 3, and I'm like, what am I doing? I was so excited to get all of these, and they're sitting there. So this is some backlog. I know he has more than this now, but because most of them I think are novellas, like I think it's obtainable, and I like that one so much that I think I'm gonna enjoy all these too.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I like it.
This is a show with some comics, but I feel like Kristen would love Bee and Puppy Cat. Yeah, Bee and Puppy Cat is awesome. I haven't watched all of it, so you know what? I will write that down, Batmanda, because I've watched some of it. I watched some of it like many years ago, but I think it's on a streaming service now, right? I feel like it wasn't before. But I would love to read the comics too. So yeah, Batmanda, thank you. I'm writing it down right now. Bee and Puppy Cat. I almost put Bat Manga. That's not the same. That's not the same. Also, I think you're totally right, because I remember enjoying Bee and Puppy Cat a lot. So thank you for that.
Hi, Reed.
Mary says hi. Yeah, I'm still on. Sorry. Bye. Oh. Hi, Willow. Should we have a Willow cameo?
Yes, please.
He's bringing her. Oh, she's a little snotty, but... He was like... No.
Whoa.
You hear that sneeze?
I heard the sneeze.
Oh, she's rough. Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry, everybody. She's got some snot going on.
Oh, no.
The only novella I read this year was the Orville Symphony. That's not symphony. Sympathy for the Devil, based in the same timeline as the Orville TV series. Okay. That's fun. Symphony. Reed walked in, that's why.
Listen,
it's Symphony Boy.
It has a lot of the same letters in it, so I think that's fine.
Thank you. You're like, are you done yet? I'm sorry. Okay, I got distracted.
No, I'm not. I'm just like, I'm at the point, like, entertain us, Kristen.
And dance. Okay. I only have a few more. Read 5 Stephen King books.
Whoa, you are shooting for the stars this year.
Listen, Mary knows, but I have many unread Stephen King books on my shelf. Some of them Mary has given me.
I'm like, take this, please.
And I believe you have several as well, right?
Yeah.
And I thought about doing the 10 thing, but I'm like, that's too many. I was like,
that's
I just need 5, I think is obtainable. Plus, if I do my reading correctly, he has short story collections. So I could use those to hit multiple goals if I really wanted to.
See?
So, OMG loves Stephen King. Yeah. I really like what I've read, but I haven't read enough at this point. My favorite I've read, I've mentioned it a few times, but The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, I read many, many years ago. never forgotten it. I loved it. So, and I've read Elevation and I don't know, just some other ones. But I need to read more.
I loved Elevation.
Yeah, I
Really
did too. It was
I
good.
think I listened to that audiobook.
I did too, because he read it, right? And he
Yes.
was really good at reading it. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That's actually a book that I would maybe get a physical copy of.
Yeah, for sure. Just discovered Being a Puppy Cat this year, and I'm kind of obsessed.
Oh, cool.
I need to revisit it for sure. 11/23/63 or 22/63. It's my favorite Stephen King book, but that one's a chunker. I've seen it around and I've been tempted, but I'm like, it's so chunky.
I think that is the chunkiest of Stephen
It's
King
so
books,
chunky.
right? It's a big one.
I have Under the Dome, and that
Oh,
one's
yeah.
massive. Yeah, and I'm like, why did I do that? Because I was just talking about how I don't like a huge cast of characters, and I know
Yeah.
that that's all that is, and I'm like, I don't know why I did that to myself.
Did you watch the TV show? That is one that I watched, and
I
I
did
really
it.
I enjoyed
I
it a
did.
lot. Yeah.
That's good.
But I don't remember the ending, and I don't know if the ending is the same as the book or not. So I guess that's good. I have that as an ebook. I think that's probably a
Yeah.
good one to have as an ebook, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
probably.
giant.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
I have like a real floppy paperback of it, which is
Nice.
nice, but I haven't touched it. I bought that before I met Reed. I bought that many years ago. Okay, read more horror novellas. And again, if I play my cards right, I can just
Yeah,
if I read more of these, that works.
I like it.
But I do also, I read Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones, was a horror novella that I loved. Like there's
Mhm.
been several that I've read that I tend to always like. So I'm like, okay, I need to just jump more into this really weirdly specific genre
Yeah.
of like size of book and genre, right?
Yeah.
I've been asking my daughter to read The Girl of Tom Gordon forever. Yeah, well, it may freak her out though. It is about a girl who gets lost in the woods, so
Whoops.
oops. My favorite King is still Misery. I have it. I haven't read it. I love the movie, of course. Also, Kristen, have you checked out the Evil Secret Society of Cats from Seven Seas? Volume 2 is out next month. It is on my shelf. Hayden, of course. That is what I plan to read soon. So we'll see. I think that was in my I need to read before the end of the year video we did. Okay.
I remember that cover.
Then that must be near me. It is. It is right here. Look at it. Look at it.
It's cute.
Great wreck, Hayden.
Kristen, what was the Stephen King? I watched it on some streaming service. And I think you said maybe you read the novella that it was based on. And I didn't have I hated it. I hated the show.
Yeah.
It was something about grass. I know.
Yes. I'm trying. I don't. I feel like Noir Wolf may know because
Yeah.
they seem to know a lot about King.
Let me see if I could find it.
Hearts in Atlantis is fantastic. Ties in with the Dark Tower series. That's a series that I've also stared at and been tempted by just because it's Stephen King, but I've never actually jumped into that. It's in the tall grass. In the tall grass.
Yep. In the tall grass.
Is that a novella?
I don't know what I'm saying. In the tall. Oh,
was it a short story? Maybe.
In the Tall Grass. Stephen King and Joe Hill together.
Oh.
I don't know. I just remember. I just was like. I remember you being entertained by how much I hated the.
I think I do remember this now. Yeah.
I'm saying show. I think it was a movie. I don't think it was like episodes. Yeah, probably right. Like the way he writes, it's got to be tough to adapt.
I hear that a lot too. Like people don't love certain movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I would forever be angry about the 11/22/63 show. It was such a great book and a terrible adaptation. That's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer.
I know most people. I typically like if I love a book, and then a show comes out, whether it be a series or a movie or whatever. I typically am not even interested. I know that's maybe a little odd. I'm typically not even interested in watching it because I'm like, it's just, I don't know. Just probably not going to like it.
I get it.
You know?
I think he did Riot in the Tall Grass with Joe Hill. Novella was way better.
Okay.
Maybe did I feel like I need to check Goodreads. I just don't remember the name, but I think now that you're saying it, more like this is starting to come back to me. But I can't remember what it was about.
Since we're talking about Stephen King, I remember it's making me want to reread Needful Things because I did love the adaptation of that. But that have you ever read that one, Kristen?
I haven't. I've heard about it.
Yeah,
but I haven't.
I really like that one.
Misery's the only good King adaptation. I feel like a lot of people say that.
Nice.
Although that Castle Rock show was solid. Okay. Me Too, Mary, my favorite book, has a movie adaptation. I refuse to watch it. I don't need it.
Oh, now we want to know what it is.
Now we have to know. Was that a guess? Was that what that was? The Outsider?
Yeah, when I was struggling.
Needful Things
trying to help me. Oh, nice.
Awesome. Love that. So yeah, I'll have to decide which 5 I'm going to do, but I just have so many on my shelf to pick from, like, well, you know.
Well, what I love about these goals is, like, if anything, right, I just think it will encourage us to, like, if you read one, I think that's awesome. Like, one of your Stephen King books, like, and just by sort of, like, declaring what your goal is, you know, I think that'll be cool.
Absolutely. Hayden trying to get me to buy stuff. Speaking of Stephen King, another batch of those Rainbow Spine editions of his books are out soon.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Those are so nice.
Kristen goes to Target. You can guarantee she's picking up a Stephen King book.
You know, I've avoided that section for a while because I picked up like 2 within a period of time, and I was like, I have to stop. I haven't read these. I got Misery there. I got something else. I can't remember.
I have to admit, like, whenever I pull, I think I need to go to Target. The truth is, I'm trying to go by the Target book section. I got like a little itch to scratch. That's the truth.
That's fair.
You know.
Well, it helps that, like, they're like usually 30% off, so you feel like you're still getting, like, you know.
Yeah, they have good prices.
Good deal, you know. All right, so I did add at the bottom of my list, read some on my Kindle, so that was added today.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I do have 2 specifics that I want to read. One of them being, I want to read some Jane Austen.
Nice.
Even if it's 1. I've never done it. You've told me before, you're like, yeah, you should do that. I've had multiple people be like, you should do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. But I have that on my list. And Hayden, now that you're in the chat, you know what I need to read? Another Jane. Of course, that's Jane Eyre.
Oh my! I should answer that one.
Like, it's been sitting on my shelf for how long?
Yeah.
I think I may even have 2 editions for no reason. Okay. Yeah. What am I doing with my life? I know Hayden loves Jane Eyre. Hayden's like, why haven't you? I know. So it's on my list for this year. That is like my one specific, I have to read this specific book, I feel like I have on my list. And there's probably another one that I need to specifically add, but if anyone thinks of it, let me know. But yeah, that's the one. I feel like that's the one where I'm like, this has to happen. I have waited too long.
I gotta tell you, Jane Eyre made me cry. I mean, I think you'll enjoy it. I do highly recommend like doing an audiobook component with it for you. I think it will enhance, you know, just my opinion, but
if you have a specific suggestion for that, let me know later.
I will. You know, I think I promised that I would look it up for you on another show, and I never did, so I will.
It's okay. It's okay. We got a lot going on. Can we talk about how great of an author Joe Hill is? I haven't read any of his novels.
Neither have I. Maybe, well, other than I just watched the show. But maybe you could recommend some good entry points for us, right?
Absolutely. And I've heard of, and they do recommend Horns and Heart-Shaped Box. I will write those down, and I've heard about those, and I know Horns had an adaptation, right? But I love Lock and Key, so I feel like I do need to venture out into, like, the prose. Hayden, I'm glad you're stoked. Jane Eyre was my favorite classic. Wonderful.
Nice.
Read it, then watch the BBC miniseries from 2006. It's so good. Okay, I'll think about that. My daughter has been after me to read Jane Eyre. Maybe we could do a book exchange.
I love that.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, I'm reading down Horns. Heart-Shaped Box. Love that.
I'm gonna ask you for a picture of that list that you've been making.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to like write better.
No, you
I'm just
don't.
like scribbling really fast. Okay. Well, that's the end of my list. I finally finished it.
No, listen, I love that. I sort of wish I got a little more detailed on mine.
It's okay. I did want to ask you, by the way, now that Reed's here, he's probably not watching, but I let's see. Oh, okay. Stephanie can't. She is with family, but
Oh.
that's okay. I just saw her text. What was I saying? Oh, Reed had a good idea. He wanted to do a show with both of us.
Okay.
Talking about, and it's like a year-end thing. So I am doing my top 10 with my dad. So like I'm doing half on his channel, half on my channel. Look forward to that early in the year, everybody. And that's for graphic novels only, right? So Reed was like, we should do a show with Mary where we talk about our top 5 or whatever, however many we want, prose, maybe specifically audiobooks, publishers if we want to reference publishers for any reason. He had a whole like list of ideas.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, we could do this and that and this and that and this and that. And I was like, okay, let's all do it. That's fun. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so ask Mary. And I'm like, asking you now. So, so pressure because you're on air in front of people.
Count me in. Just tell me what it's, it'll be.
We'll think of, yeah, we'll figure it out, different categories and stuff. Because the other upcoming show we want to do is Mary and I are going to pick, what was it, 5? Was it 5? Or was it 10?
Wait. I remember the part where it's like, you're going to pick my first read of the new year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I didn't
saying
we're picking 5 or 10 books of those, we are each going to pick the first read. I'll pick your first read of the year. You're going to pick mine.
Got it.
From these items that we gather.
I like how you call them items.
Items from these books we gather, however many. I think that'll be really fun, though. We can go through each one and explain like why we're wanting to read it and whatever. Yeah. But also, like you were good at picking my favorite thriller of the year, No Exit. So I want to kick off the year with a good one, and I feel like you're going to pick a good one.
I tried to watch No Exit.
Yeah, wasn't it?
I didn't even, I made it like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes in. I gotta go. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
But anyway, yeah, so you tell me which one you want to do first, and
yeah, okay, we'll figure that out. But
yeah, cool.
Just a tease for anyone watching, if you're, if you're interested. Chris says, I hope you enjoyed Jane Austen. When you read her, I've enjoyed all her books. My favorite is Northanger Abbey. Okay, nice. Cool. Love that. 99% sure Thandie Newton did a Jane Eyre audiobook. I don't know who that is. Sorry.
I know the name.
I know.
I can't say well, Thandie is an author, right? Hayden will tell us.
Yeah, Hayden. I'm sorry. I don't know. Plot twist. I'm the daughter to Warwolf keeps talking about. Wait, really? Is that a joke?
Look at this.
Wait, true story. How fun.
I love this.
I had no idea. Did you know?
The whole family's here. No, I didn't know.
This is a plot twist. I love this. Okay, wonderful. It's a whole family event. I love that. All right. My mind's blown now. I'm like, hold on, wait.
I mean, this whole time, everybody's talking in the chat, and then,
What a great thriller twist that was.
Oh, man.
Have fun. All right. Well, do we have anything else we want to talk about? Are we good? I think we're good, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think there's a lot of reading to be done. What are your plans for the rest of the day? Do they involve some reading or?
Well, I do have to do laundry before work tomorrow, so I'm going to do that. But I am probably going to keep picking this up. Kisser Once for Me. I'm really enjoying it. Plus, it is the actual season. Like I feel like I need to read it with him now, right?
Yeah.
It is based around Christmas, so I'm going to read that. As far as comics, maybe, Hayden just mentioned it. Maybe I should actually pick this up because I need to write down those books that I was like, oh, I'm totally going to get through these because I didn't. the show we did. So we can
Yeah.
reference that when we next decide to early in the year. But yeah, I don't know. Are you going to read anything?
I will also be reading this.
Nice.
And if that library loan comes through for Blood on the Tracks.
Hey.
How many volumes? I think I ask you this every week. Are there currently 11 out?
I think there's 11 out. Yeah.
Guess what? I read 9 and 10 this morning.
Ooh.
So I just put 11 on hold. So we'll see. Wouldn't that be something if it came through when I checked after we got off this show?
That would be wonderful. I'm checking right now my Goodreads. I'm like, it was 11, right? Yeah, I've read 11. So yeah, it was 11. Ooh, and then we could talk about it, actually talk about it.
I know.
Probably not on the channel. I don't want to spoil everything, but privately. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're afraid. Yeah, I'm sure you're afraid to talk about it with me because you're not sure exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that last volume. Oh, I say it every time. I'm like, it was bonkers. Bonkers.
Sometimes I'm just, yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Batmanda, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you so much.
Batmanda looking out.
They need me as an actress.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah, that's close. Well, thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. If you have goals you think of later that you want to share, please comment. I would love to hear them. Plus, clearly, I need to add more to my list.
Clearly do.
If there's that, or you have any recommendations of what I should be reading or Mary should be reading next year, let us know because I'm going to write them down. I'm going to keep track and hopefully get to a lot of those in the coming year. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Mary, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure we'll be back at some point and I'll let you all know.
We will let you know. And we'll talk. I was going to, not that people need to know my work schedule. I'll share it with you later because I might have more availability, be available more probably the end of the month.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
You guys.